Well, good morning. It's the last day of May of 2023. So good to have you along with us, and welcome to another edition of Litter Media Live. With the icon, Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey.
I'm going to have you stop saying icon.
Is it going through your head?
No, my wife thinks it is.
Which means it must be.
Yeah.
Okay.
She said, "You're so patient with these people. Why can't you be that way with me?" And I said, "You know better."
But I like the Micon.
The Micon.
The Micon.
Yeah,
you can thank Lori Graves for that. She was the one that came up with that.
Is that right, Lori? Yeah. Lori's speech.
Welcome to the program. Coming up here shortly, it's opening night for the Chillicothe Paints.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that coming your way. In sports, this date in history, we go to a former Chillicothe Paints opponent location.
Correct.
So we'll talk about that coming up in just a bit, but it's not sports related, unless there was a lot of running and swimming.
There were a lot of running, yeah. I can guarantee you. Yeah,
probably so. But other than that, we got news coming your way here in just a bit. I want to remind you that we have a YouTube channel that is absolutely free. All you have to do is just take a look at it. And while you're there, click on the subscribe button, and that way you'll never miss anything when you click the bell after you subscribe. You'll get notification when we upload something new, such as the Kenworth Truck Parade preview video that we did yesterday.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about that too here in just a minute.
In fact, if you don't get YouTube, you're going to get a chance to see it in its entirety coming up here shortly. But first, we want to take a look at the weather and see how things are planning out for today. I had rain at my place last night. Nobody else seemed to have it.
You were the envy of all Southern Ohio yesterday. Everybody kept saying, not a drop, not a drop. And Dan's talking about all this rain he got yesterday.
Yeah, a whole quarter inch.
Yeah. I was hoping for some rain yesterday or today, but does not look like it's going to happen unless it's a pop-up shower like Dan had at his ranch yesterday. But today we're talking about sunshine with a high of 85. More of the same tomorrow, only a little warmer, maybe around 88 for a high tomorrow. And as far as you look down the line, I didn't see anything about rain until next Tuesday.
Yeah. I stepped outside a while ago and had a conversation out in the parking lot, and the sun was beaten down.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those people who are susceptible to sunburn, don't forget to use the sunblock, I guess, because it is making itself aware that there are people looking to be burnt.
And a lot of people are talking about sinuses and allergies and things like that. So yeah. 'Tis the season.
Which is why I was outside. I was trying to get my nasal passages clear. So, coming up, a look at what's making news across the Scioto Valley on this Wednesday. It's hard to believe it's Wednesday.
I know.
Hard to believe it's the last day of the month, too. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. Hey, if that AC's not working for you, give them a call. They can get you taken care of. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. It'll take you right to their website where you can learn more about the services they've been providing for more than 4 decades. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. News on the way next.
This is Big Chillicothe. Horizon's 100% fiber internet service is coming to your area. Call 740-772-8331 or visit horizonconnects.com/Chillicothe to sign up today.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
News time. Where are we starting today?
You mentioned the Kenworth centennial anniversary coming up, the big truck parade in Chillicothe.
That thing. Mm-hmm.
That thing, yeah.
It is. It's going to be huge, and you don't want to miss it. And yesterday I had an opportunity to sit down and talk with the folks that are going to be making this all happen. And here's a quick look back at last year, just to give you an idea of some of the things that's going on. They make their way through the big, majestic archway, and that is where Mike Smith will be the main announcer again for this year's parade.
Will Paul Pollard be with me?
I believe so.
He was behind me last year.
He's got to hold your hand.
Very excited to invite you and your family to the second annual Kenworth Truck Parade in downtown Chillicothe. We're thrilled to celebrate Kenworth's 100th anniversary this year. And we know this is going to be a great event. You see behind me the 1923 Kenworth. That's just one of many custom trucks that will be at the parade. And we can't wait to welcome you and your family to it. You can see where we've come from and the heritage and the history of the world's best trucks. And we're obviously producing many, many more today for all our great customers all across the country. I think what makes it so special is seeing the love and the pride that the owners have in their trucks. As you see them, you know, all the details that have gone into customizing their Kenworths, and you see the pride that they put into that, and it's just super exciting to see them as they come by, and they're thrilled. They came from 28 states and Canada last year. Can't wait to have you out this year and see it again. We have 56 committed for this year, so a few more than last year, and it's going to be even bigger and better. And at the end, we can't wait to celebrate with a musical performance. Come join us June 17th, 8:45, downtown Chillicothe.
And that musical performance will be done by a country band out of Nashville. And it's my understanding they're going to be riding on a flatbed to wrap up the parade. So that should be pretty cool. And then they're just going to stop the flatbed right there in front of the Majestic Theater and play music.
That's the way we do it down home.
That's pretty cool.
All right.
June 17th, the day for the truck parade.
The Ohio Start.
Very excited to invite you and your family.
Okay. Yeah. The Ohio Start and SCOJFS Children's Division will conduct a resource fair tomorrow, and then on the first Thursday of every month from 10 a.m. to noon at the Chillicothe Library Annex Building. The event is designed to address multiple services needed on a case plan in one location.
Is that South Central Ohio Job and Family Services?
I think that's probably right. Okay. It's like some other entities we know in town. They've got these long, long initials. Yeah. While the warmer weather conditions may be ideal for outdoor picnics and barbecues, the summer months typically see a spike in reports of foodborne illnesses. So make sure your fun in the sun doesn't get cut short by following some simple summer entertainment tips, especially when cooking. Anyone interested in getting more information about this, you can call your local county health department to get more. And a lot of it has to do with the same thing they tell us during Thanksgiving about leaving food out too long. You know, if you're going to bring back the leftovers later in the day, put it in the refrigerator for a while, bring it back up, or it might be a matter you just need to reheat it. But stay safe and healthy during your summer activities and picnics. Also, Goodwill Child Care will be hosting a hiring event Wednesday, June the 7th for its new center on Western Avenue in Chillicothe. That'll be open sometime later this summer. Anyone interested in working at the center as a teacher, assistant teacher, aide, or an administrative assistant is encouraged to stop by their 2541 Western Avenue location. That's next to the Goodwill store out on Western Avenue between noon and 7 p.m. on Wednesday, July the 7th. And again, that is a hiring event, so be prepared to be interviewed for a possible position. Fayette County Health is hosting a Family Fun Health Day on June the 10th. The event will be at the Grace Community Church at 525 Glen Avenue in Washington Courthouse. Activities start with health screenings at 8 a.m. to noon, then family fun and outdoor displays between 9 and noon. There will also be animal exhibits from the Columbus Zoo between noon and 1 p.m. Pre-registration for blood work should be sent to Adena Fayette Medical Center before June the 7th. Same-day registration must register by 11 a.m. that day of the event. Tickets are on sale for the August 19th Lancaster Brewfest. Tickets are on sale now. For complete details and to purchase tickets, simply go to the Destination Downtown Lancaster social media page.
Don't forget, and don't be confused, we've got the Chillicothe Brewfest this Saturday.
Yeah, a lot of communities doing that. Wild turkey hunters in Ohio checked over 15,000 birds during the spring season, which concluded this past Sunday. That according to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Wildlife. The total statewide harvest represents all turkeys checked from April 22nd to May 28th and includes the 1,800 turkeys taken during the two-day youth season, April 15th and 16th. As far as counties in our area, those that did the best as far as harvest were in Gallia and also Adams counties. A day of business networking and learning will be available at the 2023 Appalachian We Mean Business Conference. This annual conference, presented by the Ohio Minority Business Assistance Centers and the Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky African American Chamber of Commerce, will offer business-focused workshops, networking opportunities, and economic development updates. The June 27th conference will run from 9 a.m. to 3 at the University of Rio Grande Davis University Center Heritage Room, and it is free to attend. There's a link on the website where you can register just to say, hey, I know it's free, but I'm coming on down. Road reports. In Highland County, work set to begin May 31st, which is today, for a culvert replacement on State Route 753 between Weininger Road and Snake Road. 753 will be closed starting June 12th for 30 days for this construction. So although the work is getting underway today, that'll be completely closed down on June 12th, again, for about a month. The detours will be US 50, State Route 41, and State Route 28. And we mentioned this yesterday. The Williamsport community in Pickaway County has their Deer Creek Dam Days, and that opens this afternoon. You can see 3 o'clock is the Queen pre-judging, but I think later in the evening is the actual contest. I think it's 7 o'clock, right after the parade at 6.
Parade starts off at 6 p.m. The parade lineup starts at 5:30, so takes a half hour to get them all organized to hit the streets there in Williamsport.
Now, you pointed out to me earlier that the musical entertainment, which starts at 4, is Seize the Night Band.
Yes.
You'd think that would be at night that they would be performing so they could seize it.
They're performing in the afternoon.
So they can be seen, I guess. Yeah.
Precisely. Also got the word from the Ohio State Fair. This is the last call for their $6 admission tickets. That will expire at midnight tonight. You can get your tickets through Ticketmaster.com/Ohio State Fair. This year's State Fair, let's see, what are the dates on it? July 26th through August 6th. Does that sound right?
Sounds right. Do you remember when it used to last almost a month?
Yeah, it was like 17 days.
Yeah, because Governor Rhodes always wanted to be the biggest state fair in the nation. Yeah. I think we were always in the running with Texas.
I'm trying to remember. I want to say it might be 1990, the last time I was at the state fair. I've been on the fairgrounds for several events, but not for the state fair itself.
Right.
So, and I can't remember being there since.
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever been there for the fair.
Really?
And when I came out of Buckeye Boy State, I told you I was number 1 on the badge number. Yeah. I had a free ticket, and I still didn't go. So.
That's right. They did give us free tickets. I forgot about that.
That's right.
But I think I may still have my free ticket as well.
Wonder if you could try to get in now with that free ticket.
I'm sure you'd be looked at, and they'd say, hey, you got a relic in your hand there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it worth $6? No.
They may want to buy that and put it in the frame somewhere. Yeah. Dan Mitchell. Yeah, I remember you.
We used to go to the fair all the time when I was a kid living closer to Columbus. But for whatever reason, well, you know what? I might have to correct myself. I think maybe 1992 might have been the last time I was at the state fair, because I believe that was the year that Donny Osmond was there. I bought tickets for Missy, and there were all kinds of women standing on top of the chairs around me, and I'm just like, you're not going to make me stand, are you?
I saw a real funny bit yesterday with Donny Osmond.
Oh, really?
He said, I have to apologize because I, for the last almost 40 years, have been promoting something that was not true.
Uh-oh.
So I thought, what in the world is he going to talk about? And he talks about that the scientists have found that there's some kind of a chemical in apples that if a particular apple is bad next to another apple, that will spread to the other apple. And then he starts playing the old Osmond song, One Bad Apple Won't Spoil the Whole Bunch Girl. And he said, I've been misleading people all this time and didn't even realize. I want to apologize. It was hilarious the way he did it. So.
Thanks, Donnie.
Yeah.
50 years later, think of all those spoiled apples.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Sports on the way in just a moment, but first we want to remind you that we have some folks that help you clean up. And that is the Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389. If you've got a big summer project that you need a dumpster for, give them a call, 740-253-8389. Ask about their demolition service as well. I saw on their Facebook page not long ago, they had the big crane coming down and pretty much taking care of this mobile home. So if you've got an old mobile home you don't want to have anymore, they'll come and clean that kind of thing up. 740-253-8389. Tell Carl that Dan and Mike sent you.
Budweiser beer, the king is second to none.
Who drinks Budweiser? You know the type. The people who grind. Those who don't back down. And the ones who don't quit. They say all people are 6 degrees of separation away from each other. But some are just a six-pack away. The people who share the same spirit, share the same beer. This Bud's for you.
Hi, I'm Dave Pinkerton with Advanced Services Heating and Cooling, your local heating and cooling expert. If you want quality service, quality installation, give Advanced Services a call, 740-773-4499.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance, on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
Tony made his return to TV.
Yeah.
Doing the race, the Coca-Cola 600 over the weekend. I think he's out for the next few weeks, though. And before you know it, I think NBC or whoever takes up the second half of the season. It's hard to believe the NASCAR season's almost halfway done.
How about that?
Wow.
Time's flying.
Sports with Mike Smith.
Hey, congratulations to Tays Valley High School graduate and Marietta College senior Brett Carson, a former Paint as well. He's been named the Region 7 Player of the Year from both the D3Baseball.com and the American Baseball Coaches Association.
See, something good can come out of Asheville.
Yeah, really. But you said he's not able to be a Paint this year.
He's a senior, so I think his eligibility with the Paints is over.
Gotcha. Well, he was a big cog in their success over the last year or so. And obviously for Marietta College as well. And
a decent place kicker for the Tays Valley football team, too.
Just wonder if he's got any major league teams looking at him, but we wish him the best moving forward. Speaking of the Paints, they open their Prospect League season tonight, but it's on the road. They'll be over in Lafayette, Indiana, taking on the Aviators. 7 o'clock is the first pitch, and then, of course, they'll come home tomorrow for their home opener against are they still calling them Champion City?
Champion City Kings.
Even though it's
from
in
Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. So, of course, we'll tell you more about that tomorrow.
Fireworks tomorrow night.
Woo! How about that? Hey, speaking of fireworks, this one, I was watching it. The Reds got up 8-0. Barrera, is that his name?
Jose Barrero.
Did you see the home run, the slam he hit?
If he wouldn't have hit the light stanchion, it would have gone all the way out of the park.
I mean, that was a rocket at
His
Fenway.
only home run this year.
Yeah, and man, he hit it a ton.
And he was 2 for 2 with a walk last night.
Yeah, so they were up 8-0, and then it was 9-3 Reds going into the bottom of the ninth, and they almost gave it away. But they did hang on. Mr. Diaz came on to get the save. 9-8 the final, and that's 4 in a row for Cincinnati.
And that is 18 save opportunities that he has also gathered. Matt McClain, better talk about him too. He was the player of the week in the National League. 18 of 31. Is that what I see there?
Yes.
Batting average of 434 or 84?
I thought it was either 464 or 484.
It's big.
Yeah.
But had a couple of home runs as well. So big time for this young man. Shortstop. Mm-hmm. How many people have we heard playing shortstop for the Reds? I mean, we've heard this De La Cruz kid supposed to play a shortstop.
Yeah.
Barrero, they were trying to turn into his natural position, center field. Mm-hmm. Nick Senzel, natural position, infielder. Yeah. They had him playing in the center. I don't understand all that stuff.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
But
well, Babe Ruth used to be a pitcher.
Yeah.
And wasn't a bad pitcher. Had a World Series record for pitching, but they moved him to the outfield, and he probably had a little bit better success out there.
Well, you could drink beer out there.
Yeah, so. Which I wouldn't be surprised if Babe did that on occasion. But the Reds and Sox back at it from Fenway tonight. Guardians fall to Baltimore last night, 8-5 to even out that best, 3-game series. They wrap it up in Baltimore this afternoon.
I'm sure Babe being in the outfield, especially if it wasn't center field, gave him more of an opportunity to work up with the crowd and everything, too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Especially in those days where they didn't have a home run fence, you know.
Yeah. What was the show that Dick Enberg used to host with former great athletes?
Oh, golly, I haven't thought about that show for a long time. Is that early 70s?
Yeah. But it was like a game show, but they had famous athletes that were on the panel competing against each other. And one of the greats from the Yankees days, I think it was Lefty Gomez, maybe. I'm not very sure about that. But apparently he was really slow. But he was a comedian. And he was talking about one day that he got thrown out of a game in Cleveland. This was before lights.
Yeah.
So we're going back into the late 20s, early 30s. And the Yankees were hollering at the umpire from the dugout, call the game already, call the game. And Lefty crawled out to home plate and lit a match like he was trying to find home plate, and the umpire threw him out, and they weren't even playing. But he was telling another story. He and Babe had a bet because Lefty was so slow that Babe said, I bet I can beat you into the dugout from left field and you're on the mound. So he said, okay, so at the end of the inning, the ball is actually hit towards Babe in left field, left center, but Babe didn't even go to the ball. He's running for the dugout to try to beat Lefty into the dugout.
I'll let somebody else get that for me.
But just things that you don't hear about Major League Baseball players doing. I'm sure Babe probably get fined for that, too.
The name of the show was Sports Challenge.
Gotcha, yeah.
It was on for 9 seasons.
Yeah, it was... Wow. It was very entertaining, very educational, but very entertaining as well, hearing some of these old-timers talk.
Like I said, I haven't thought about this show for a long time. A sports-centered game show that aired in weekly syndication from 1971 to 79, with a separate version that aired briefly on CBS weekends from May 20th, 1973 to September 9th of 73. Must have been a summertime replacement show or something.
Uh-huh.
Dick Ehrenberg was the host. Johnny Gilbert was involved. Remember Johnny Gilbert from Jeopardy?
And it was Lefty Gomez, by the way.
Art James and John Harlan were announcers on there. So, and the theme song was composed by Patrick Williams, just in case you wondered.
Good show. Good show.
All right, that's it for sports. Coming up, this date in history, and we swim back to what year?
1889, actually a tragic story that ended up resulting in some good things coming out of the tragedy.
All right, so we'll discuss coming up in just a few short moments. Today is Wednesday. McDonald's has open hiring events every Wednesday. A chance to sit down and talk with the manager right there on the spot, and who knows, you might be working the next day.
Yeah.
You could be working that afternoon probably.
Absolutely. They do this from 2 to 5, and a number of fellows that I have a chance to volunteer working with talk about that they have interviews coming up with McDonald's. Mm-hmm. So a lot of neat stuff that McDonald's does as a corporate citizen in our community, not just to hire people, but to give people a second chance.
And if you find yourself in a situation where that high schooler is been out of school for the last few days and you're tired of them being in the house already, send them to McDonald's for a job interview. Yes. Today's the day. Give them an opportunity to make some money during the summertime. At McDonald's in Circleville, in Greenfield, Waverly, and 4 locations here in Chillicothe. McDonald's.
I'm loving it.
This date in history next.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
At Rathkamp Financial, we act as your advocate in all wealth matters. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, oh, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
This date in history takes us back to
1889.
All right.
The South Fork Dam in Pennsylvania collapsed on this date, causing the Johnstown flood that tragically killed over 2,200 people. Now, Johnstown, Pennsylvania is 60 miles east of Pittsburgh in a valley near the Allegheny, the Little Conemaugh, and the Stony Creek rivers. A dam was built in 1840 on the Little Conemaugh River, 14 miles upstream from Johnstown. It was the largest earth dam made of dirt and rock rather than steel and concrete in the United States at that time, and it created the largest man-made lake of that time. Now, the dam was part of an extensive canal system that became obsolete as the railroads replaced the canal as a means of transporting goods. As the canal system fell into disuse, maintenance on the dam was neglected. Well, as a result, the dam collapsed and many lives were lost. But oftentimes, as we see, whenever there is a disaster, there are silver linings. There are things that come out that shows that, people can do really good things to help those in need. One of them, an organization called the American Red Cross. This was their first major relief effort, and that was the result of the Johnstown flood. Also, industrialist Andrew Carnegie, who was a part of a group called the South Fork Members, which were, in a way, kind of attending. I think there was some kind of a country club or something like that near this giant lake. And because they were rich people, they were kind of blamed for not making sure that the dam was being taken care of. Well, as a result, Andrew Carnegie was so stricken with grief over the massive loss of life that he donated $1 million to charity. Now, $1 million in 1889 was a lot of money. It's a lot of money to Dan and I now, but it was really a lot of money to everybody back then. Mm-hmm. And as a result, anywhere that you've heard of there being a Carnegie Library, that's where that money came from. A place in New York City called Carnegie Hall. These humanitarian places, as far as the arts, helping your fellow man, that all came about as a result of Andrew Carnegie's donation following the Johnstown flood that happened on this date in 1889. I don't know that the libraries here in Chillicothe were considered Carnegie libraries, but the one in Washington Courthouse is. Well, in fact, they still refer to it.
The main library is.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a picture of him in the stairwell.
Okay. So where Carnegie Hall obviously is in New York City, small town America has benefited from a lot of these dollars from that fund that he contributed to way back when.
According to this quick calculation, $1 million today would be worth, let's see here.
Well, it would need to be $1 million then what it's worth today.
Correct. $36,549,759.04.
Yeah. But also keep in mind that money was probably in some kind of a trust that was gaining interest over a century. So that compounded and got to be even bigger. So a lot of money.
Must be nice to have money.
I've often thought of that.
But think of the problems you would have.
Well, I would
think your problems would be far greater than the ones that you have if you don't have money.
I was just sharing with a young man yesterday what Jesus said about how hard it is for a person to get to heaven that's wealthy. Not impossible with God to help, but difficult because sometimes you kind of feel like, well, what do I need God for?
It's not the money. It's just the love of money is the root of all evil.
Right.
And like you say, you become self-sufficient, and that's where you start running into difficulty.
So any of you folks with a lot of money, Dan and I are taking Dan and I can help you with some of your struggling and take that off your hands, and we'll see that it goes for a good cause.
Yeah. Like that pool you want in the backyard.
Yeah.
I see.
I haven't gotten that yet. Yeah. I want one like the Ramey Ranch has.
I did a little thing on Facebook here several years ago, and it was like installing the pool today. And everybody's like, oh, wow, what'd you get, and who's doing the work for you? And all this kind of, doing it on my own, no problem. And so later in the day, once I filled it with water, after I had blown it up, I snapped a picture of it and said, there it is, the pool's been installed. And it was a funny gag there for a while.
That was the only pool that Sarah Smith had growing up, was one that you either could blow up or one of those that, I don't know what it was made, some kind of plastic you could just throw it out there and throw water in.
Yeah, so those prefab molded things, which I guess baby Amelia had a conversation with Mimi yesterday about the fact that, Mimi, I think I need a bigger pool this year.
Happens when you grow up,
Yeah. Well, she's twice as big as she used to be,
right?
Right.
Right.
She's 4 years old now. So at any rate, it looks like we've got to take a step up in our poolage.
There you go.
So, all right. You got a radio story today?
Not that I can think of.
Nothing you can think of.
Yeah. We got sidetracked on water and pools. So, well, wait a minute. Did we ever have any broadcast at a pool or anything like that?
I think the only thing I ever did poolside might have been, other than our trip to SeaWorld, which we talked about here not long ago, might have been when I DJ'd, this is back when the Swim and Racket Club was the Swim and Racket Club. They had a pool there, and now it's the Chillicothe Athletic Center. But one of the basketball teams, I think it was having a banquet of some sort there with a pool party, and I was the DJ. And I think it's the last thing I ever did close to water like that.
I remember, speaking of, I don't know if I can tell this or not. We were, well, I think WKKJ still does the fireworks soundtrack.
Yeah.
And for several years, we were helping.
Oh, that's right. I guess I was at that pool, wasn't I?
Yeah, we were serving hot dogs and for those who gave a certain amount of money to the fireworks display.
Which is still the same way from what I understand.
And I don't know, we had a picnic or a cookout or something earlier in the day, and I think I ate like 10 deviled eggs. Well, by the time I got to the pool party, it hit me. So I wasn't much help to anybody serving hot dogs because I was in the Chillicothe pool restroom. So, and I'll just leave it at that, okay? But, yeah, I guess as we were talking earlier about helpful
Is there somebody drowning in that water down there? All those bubbles keep popping up. What's going on?
As we were just sharing a while ago about those health tips for food, don't eat too many deviled eggs before you go to a party. Yeah.
I do miss the cookouts we used to have in the park. Those were a lot of fun. We would serve up hot dogs and chips and pop, I think it was.
Yes.
And
we went out to VA and did that. And Dennis Murphy cooked the dogs for us.
Yeah, I don't think I was a part of that. But what was cool was the shirts that we wore and everything. They always called it weenie wear.
Weenie wear.
So you had to wear your weenie wear, which was always fun.
You always had to make sure you were talking about the shirts. Yeah.
But it gave us a chance to meet with our listeners and everything down in the park, and I do kind of miss doing that kind of stuff. But didn't miss the cleanup part.
No, that was
because there was always that somebody had to cook it, and then somebody had to clean up the charcoal grill that we used to have. So that was always fun.
I was trying to think if Dan Latham, sir, ever cooked any of the dogs. Seems like I can see him over the grill on a couple of occasions. So maybe he did.
I think he always hung out around the grill.
Either that or he was going to the grill to get a dog and eat it.
I think Tracy Taylor was the one that said, I'm running the show here.
That could have been. Yeah.
So I think I remember helping Tracy once. I think Mitch Cochran might have helped out a time or two as well. But, the 90s.
Yeah.
Back when we used to do that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's it for the program today. Thank you so much for watching. If you joined us late live, this will be available on our YouTube channel a little bit later on, and it'll be available right afterwards on demand on Facebook as well. So until tomorrow, which is the start of June, enjoy the rest of your day. For the icon, sorry, Laura, Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey. We'll see you tomorrow.